Hi everyone. I'm just gonna wait and give some people some time to jump on. Hopefully some people will jump on, but it doesn't matter if they do or don't because this is actually going to be posted afterward. So I'm gonna fix my microphone here real quick. Let me do that. And so this will be posted on my YouTube channel for anyone who wants to watch it after I've gone live. I have some new lights that are blinding me to death right now, and I'm sitting in my closet. Yes, this is going to be my new studio, so just trying to get everything situated here, so just kind of bear with. Okay, all right. Well, I am going to get started because I don't really have a whole lot of time. I have a lot of things going on right now, and I have some breaking news about Donna Matthews' murder trial. Now, I'm going to be talking about some facts and fiction about the deliberation of the jury. So I'm going to be setting the record straight for those of you who have been a little rude and disrespectful to the jury members. I have been in touch with one of the jurors and got a lot of information from this person yesterday. Had a very long conversation yesterday on the phone and had talked to this person numerous times before as well, just to kind of get that person's feedback on the sentencing and things of that nature. So before I get started, I do want to tell you that I am flying out to Knoxville, Tennessee on Thursday, and I will be filming on Friday for the TV show Snapped. And this will be about Donna Matthews because no one else is going to be talking. So they contacted me and asked me if I would be willing to come out and discuss Donna on a more personal level, and I will be doing that, and I do hope to do justice for Donna. I know some people who know Donna. Before I get started talking about the jury, I really want to talk about Donna's friends and some of the things that have been said to me personally and against me about how I've been doing these videos. I originally did these for Donna, and I said that in my last video. I have been doing this for Donna from the very beginning, and it was then for the murder trial. I started doing it for family and friends who were unable to be there for her, that were out of town, out of state, but Donna had a lot of friends worldwide. And so a lot of people were watching those videos because they were getting the information that they could not get anywhere else. Also, people that were going to be testifying in the trial were watching my videos because they couldn't be there either. So it was a great help for a lot of people and very beneficial for them. So it was great when I was doing, just the feedback and the great positive things about Donna. But once I started talking about the trial and the things that I was learning through the trial that I was told differently from Donna or her friends, that's when I started getting a lot of kickback. And a lot of people were really giving me a hard time about that. And they still are. They think that I'm doing this for YouTube hits, and I'm not. I used to be a journalist as a job, and I have always been a full-time writer. And so for me, I'm just telling the truth. I'm really just telling a side of a story that most people aren't hearing, they're not getting. Now, for me going out and doing the filming of Snapped, that is a very tough decision for me, and my family and my friends know that this is not a very easy decision for me to make, because I don't want to misrepresent Donna. I don't want my words to be taken differently. I don't want to say something that may sound negative to Donna, and then they're just going to clip out whatever else I say positively about her, and then it's just going to make me look like I'm bad mouthing her. So I'm putting that disclaimer out here right now that my intention to go do this interview with Snapped is not to hurt Donna or to hurt Donna's family. This is really something I feel like needs to be done because nobody else can do it because of her appeal. And nobody really wants to kind of get involved in that, and that's okay. They've agreed to do it, but then with Donna going ahead and appealing everything for her trial and the verdict and the sentencing and whatnot, a lot of people aren't going to be discussing it with anyone else. And I am pretty much on the outside now looking in. And so I don't really have anything to gain or to lose. I'm not going to gain anything. I'm not going to go on this show and people aren't going to come to YouTube and be like, oh my gosh, you're, you know, some rock star celebrity, because I'm not. And I won't be. So this isn't, I'm not going on there to promote my YouTube channel, to promote it. I'm not going out there to do that. I'm going out there because I feel I need to say a lot of things that her friends should have said. I feel like a lot of information has been misrepresented about Donna, about the case, about the story, about Michael Guyon, about his family. And I don't really think that they'll be talking a whole lot about that, but they're going to be asking me about my personal relationship with Donna, which I have a lot of really good stories to say. And unfortunately, throughout this process, Donna betrayed me and lied to me. And yeah, I will be telling them that. But again, that does not mean that I'm going out there to crucify Donna by any means. That's not my intent, because she still is my friend and I love her. I'm very concerned about her. I am incredibly concerned about her. And if you're a friend of hers and you're watching this, you should be concerned about her, and you should be listening to this and watching this video here today, because you're going to gain a lot of insight about the jury, about the trial, that maybe you don't know, or you are seriously just rejecting the truth because you really do not want to face that reality. So I just wanted to talk about the whole idea of going out and being filmed for Snapped, and that, you know, I am conflicted over this. For one thing, I just don't want to make Donna a celebrity for killing someone. That is like my hugest concern. Like, I don't want this, because, you know, that is kind of what Donna was doing a little bit. I'm not saying that that was her goal, but I do think like Donna was kind of seeking this notoriety through this process and thinking that she was going to come out the hero, and that didn't happen. And so I really don't want to go out there and do that, but I don't want to crucify Donna either. So that's kind of where I'm very conflicted. I don't want to hurt Donna. I don't want to hurt her family, but I don't want to have the truth not being told. And I was very betrayed by Donna throughout this process. Through her friends betrayed me as well. They are, you know, I'm still getting text messages from some of them, you know, telling me that I'm doing this for YouTube hits and that I don't know God because I'm not standing behind Donna through all of this. And I've never turned my back on Donna. I'm just telling the truth about it. So that's kind of where I'm going with this whole Snap thing. And I'm going to be very careful about, you know, how I present Donna. I'm not going there to bash her or to make her look bad. I just think a lot of things have changed with Donna. The Donna Matthews that I saw on the stand is not the woman that I knew many years ago. She did seem cold-hearted and calculated up on the stand, and as a friend who's known her previously, that was really, really difficult for me to watch. And the jury noticed that as well. They didn't really feel like there was a whole lot of remorse going on with Donna up there. She seemed cocky and arrogant And those are the juror's words, not mine. So she seemed kind of, like she had it made in the shade. She was looking out the window. She was kind of staring some of the jurors down. And I did watch that as well. She was kind of swiveling in her chair. And I did notice that too. It just didn't hit me as someone who really was, defending her life for domestic violence. I will be sharing my story very soon. I did record it. It's pretty long, so I need to kind of bring it down and figure out how to edit it. It was a very, very tough video for me to film. And as someone who has really gone through domestic violence, I think that the domestic violence self-defense plea was probably the worst decision that Donna and her friends could have ever made. And so with that, I'm going to talk about the juror that I spoke to and their feelings going into deliberation, the process that they were all thinking throughout the trial. Now, first of all, they were told that this trial was going to probably last about 3 weeks. I was told the same thing. What happened is Donna actually took the stand on Monday or Tuesday, July 3rd. And so I heard her story from the defense aspect of it. However, as many of you know, I was in jail on the 4th and got on the 5th, got home. And so I was not able to go to the court, to the trial on the 5th. And I didn't go on the 6th either, just because I was really trying to do some things in my personal life and get through some of that. And then I did go that Friday, which was the 7th, and I was fully expecting the defense to still be having witnesses on the stand, and it didn't happen. When I got there, they were giving their closing arguments, and I showed up, I want to say about 1 o'clock. I think I came after lunch because I was like, well, I'm not going to interrupt in the morning. I'll come right after lunch. And the defense was giving their closing arguments. So that was really confusing for me because that was a very, very short period of time that the defense was interviewing witnesses. So I don't really understand that. Now, according to the juror that I spoke to, and keep in mind, I was not there firsthand, so I can't verify this, but from this person's perspective, they told me that when the defense started questioning their own witnesses, the same questions were asked. And they were like the basic 3 questions. Did you hear Donna have a conversation with Guyan? Was she fearful of her life? Things of that nature. And the questions were yes, yes, yes. And then it was done. And then the prosecution apparently ripped them to shreds. So, and that is according to the juror that I spoke to. That was their perspective on how things were handled. And the jury, the entire jury as a whole, felt the same, that the defense did not really fight very hard for Donna. And that was one thing that I saw right off the bat when I first started going to this trial. I really felt like her lawyers were Dumb and Dumber. Seriously, they could have been, Dumb and Dumber, from the movie. And I'm not kidding. The jury saw this. The jury thought that they were bumbling, ridiculous idiots. They let too much get by. They didn't let enough get in. And Barney Fife, okay, that's what this juror called the main lawyer. That's supposed to be some big wig from Illinois who teaches law. God help us all. Well, I guess if they're going to be defending murderers, praise Jesus that, he may be their lawyer because they're never going to get off. And so that's great. because he is really one of the worst lawyers I ever saw. The juror that I spoke to yesterday actually said that their grandchild at 5, who is really good at arguing her point, could have got up there and got Donna off. I said the same thing. I think both of us realized that Judge Jody Meyer you could actually see sometimes throughout the trial that Judge Meyer would look like, aren't you going to object? You would see her like looking at the lawyers going, okay. So she was waiting for an objection that never came. And so I think everyone really, really saw that these lawyers were not fighting for her. One of the things that I saw was the other lawyer, not Barney Fife, and that's actually what I called him a long time ago, and the juror called him, and I think they all called him Barney Fife, and because he was just a bumbling idiot. Excuse me. I'm in the desert, so it's really, really hot here, and I'm like dry throat. So they could see that this lawyer was really incompetent, really didn't know what to do. Apparently, from what I understood from the juror, is that the prosecution was calling Donna a whore, promiscuous, all these crazy names, and the lawyers for Donna didn't object, didn't stop this madness. And so this is what the jury is hearing. And if the lawyer is letting the prosecution say all these things about their client, they were like, well, maybe they know something we don't know. And both the juror and I yesterday were talking about it, and we were both on the same page and going, hey, I would have been hitting my lawyer like, what? Hey, stop this. Now, I brought this to the attention of one of her friends who is paying for this lawyer. I was told I didn't know what I was talking about. It was the best of the best. But you know what? The jury saw that they were the worst of the worst. Seriously, these lawyers were damning Donna. They were her biggest downfall. The other thing that the juror mentioned is that apparently there were a few plea bargains made by the prosecution, and they were rejected. So the juror wanted to know, why did the lawyer reject these plea bargains? Well, I think Donna ultimately had the choice to decline those. I think Donna really thought she was going to get up there and everyone was going to feel sorry for her, but she didn't go up there and portray this woman who was battered. She went up there and I killed him. I called him, blah, blah, blah. I hit him over the head. I did this. I did that. Yeah, I contacted 60 people. Over 60 people. And it was just so matter of fact. There was no fear in Donna. I did not see fear come out projected in the trial. She did not project fear. Now, again, this is 2 years later we're talking about, so a lot of time has gone by, and Donna has been in jail for quite some time, so maybe she's gotten a little hardened over this. I couldn't tell you. I don't really know what's going on through Donna's mind, but I can tell you that when she went up there, she had a great opportunity to really show the fear, but I didn't see that. And if I didn't see it as her friend, the jury was looking at her going, seriously, this is what they were saying. This is a cold-blooded murder right here. This is a cold-blooded murderer. Her testimony did nothing for her. It did not help her at all. In fact, it really did a lot of damage to her own case. Now, the other thing that, again, the plea bargains, Donna either had to reject it or the lawyers rejected it. We don't know. And I'm pretty sure it was Donna who probably rejected those plea bargains, which is very unfortunate because, she could have got a lesser sentence. She could, had this opportunity to be with her family, maybe sometime in the near future rather than never. But Donna was playing the hero. Donna wanted this drama. Donna wanted to be up on the stand. And again, I'm not saying this to hurt Donna. I'm saying that from what I know, from talking to Donna throughout the last 2 years, that's what she wanted. She wanted her day in court. She wanted to tell the story. She wanted me to tell the story. She wanted me to write more blogs. She wanted me to get out there and talk to the news. She wanted me out there to be her spokesperson. And everyone else had a different role going on. Mine was, hey, be my spokesperson, be my voice. And at the time, I wanted to be her voice. As someone who has gone through domestic violence and listening to what she was telling me, I had to be her voice. Now, the other thing that's been going on is I've had numerous people contact me and say, I told you so. I told you that she was doing this. I told you that this and this, was not true. What you were saying was not true. And back in the day, 2 years ago when I started this, I did have people say to me, come to me, at me like that. And I was so defensive of Donna that I told these people, get off my page, shut up. I did. Oh, God, help me. God, forgive me. And any of you that I did that to, please forgive me. I should have listened. Really, as someone who has been a journalist, I should have known that I should have gotten both sides, but I was really personally involved in this with Donna to the point that I was not going to listen to anything else that wasn't being told to me by Donna or her friends. And specifically by her friends, because her friends were really giving me a lot of the story, that those missing links, because I couldn't talk to Donna for very long. Her letters were monitored coming in and out. So I really, was getting a lot of my information from her friends as well. Now, as you know, I have moved to Arizona, and unfortunately, I am so upset because I have all of Donna's letters, but they are packed away in Kenosha at my best friend's house in a box somewhere, and I have no idea where they are, and I really wish that I had them, especially going for this interview with Snapped, because I really think that they are pertinent to what I'm going to be talking about and the stories that I was told and lied to about. So this is, I really wish I had those. All right, so I'm going to continue on with the Juror. And again, the plea bargaining was a huge issue. But the number one reason, well, there's not like one particular, there's 3 reasons why they found her guilty. One was because Stacy Tenuta, her best friend, did not testify. I was under the impression that she was supposed to testify because she never came to court. I asked everyone about, where's Stacy? Everyone said she's going to be on the stand for Donna. And so I understood that. But then I found out she did not testify. The other reason why they were really concerned is that Sydney, her daughter, did not show up to testify. Right there, those 2 people, because Stacy and Sydney were so brought up so many times throughout the trial that many people in the jury were going, well, why aren't we hearing from them? Why aren't we going to hear from them? Why don't we get their testimony? If they are the 2 people that really saw all of this stuff going on, because nobody else saw it. Nobody. Let's get that really clear. Nobody saw any domestic violence, any abuse. Nobody saw it. Nobody heard the harassment. Nobody heard the threats. They overheard it maybe on a phone conversation with Donna. But Donna was instigating a lot of this. Now, when I sat down with Stacy Tenuta about a year ago, her and I met one night, and she really wanted to tell me her side of the story. I was kind of in that circle of friends at the time, and Stacy and I sat down together, and she told me that it was crazy, that all this stuff that went on. And I was asking her all these questions like, well, why didn't Donna, do this? Or why did Donna do that? And she would go, I don't know. I really don't know. And so then she started showing me some of the text messages that she got from Guyan, and none of them were threatening. In fact, all of them were, please help me. I love her. Why is she doing this to me? Those were the messages that Stacy showed me. And then I got really confused and I said, I don't understand. I don't see any threats here. What's happening? And she goes, I don't know. Did she tell you? No. No, she didn't tell me. So Stacy was just as confused as I was, but Stacy was involved in all of this. So Stacy was a key witness that could have really helped Donna, really truly helped Donna. Those lawyers, if they didn't call Stacy up there, that's their fault. But I also think that they know that Stacy also was going to be cross-examined by the prosecution and probably be, crucified by them. They were probably going to ask her the same questions that I did that night, and Stacy didn't have any answers for it. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand. So Stacy was just as confused as I was about this whole thing. Now, she's going to stand behind Donna 100%, and God bless her for it, because that's her best friend. I don't really know much about their relationship, but from what I was told is that Donna kind of told Guyan that her and Stacy were a couple, and that, she was hoping to deter Michael Guyan, by this fact that she was a lesbian with Stacy. Now, whether or not that's really true or they have these kind of relationships, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't know what they did in front of Michael Guyan to try to convince him of that. But I do know Donna, she can, when she's got her mind set on something, she's going to do it, and she's going to go all the way. So if there was this lesbian story, Donna was probably portraying that fully to the T. And I don't know. Again, that's my opinion. That's my speculation. That is my educated guess from knowing Donna. And whether that happened, I don't know. I'm not saying that it did. And again, I'm not going to say that on Snapped or anything. I'm saying it here on my YouTube channel. Excuse me again. So Stacy was a key witness that really was not brought forth. Sydney, her daughter, another key witness that wasn't there throughout most of the trial because she was supposed to testify as well. Wow. Because Sydney was actually in the relationship with Michael Guyan. She lived with him. He bought her clothes and got a spa thing and all this crazy stuff from Michael Guyan. So here's my thing. And I'm going to come from someone who was in a very violent relationship. My ex-husband tried to kill me, and my oldest son, and his friend had to pull my ex-husband off of me. He was strangling me, and I was trying to punch up to get him off of me. He was literally strangling me to death. Now, I'm going to tell you one thing, that when I got out of that relationship, I didn't tell him where I went when I moved. I was fearful to leave. I was afraid all the time. When I moved to Chicago, only a select handful of people knew. I wasn't posting anything on Facebook. I mean, I was, but my ex-husband wasn't on Facebook at the time, and I knew that. So it wasn't a big deal. But I did. I saw him everywhere, and I was scared, and I was fearful of my life. And for a long time, when I first moved to Chicago, I was constantly checking, out the window before I went anywhere. And for a long time, I didn't go anywhere because I was afraid he was going to be outside my door. And it was irrational, But that's what abuse does. It makes you irrational. It makes you very afraid of everything. If you were to talk to me 3 years, 4 years, 5 years later, the truth of the matter is I was still fearful because I ran into him when Tavin was 3 years old, and I actually called my husband. I was downtown, and actually it was today exactly. Let's see, 5, 6 years ago, because it showed up on my Facebook thing. There was a big duck, duck, goose thing downtown Kenosha, and I was there with both of my brother-in-laws, Mikey and Ashlyn, and they were going to participate in it, and I had Tavin with me, and I saw my ex-husband there and freaked out. I went and hid, and I went somewhere where I thought he wouldn't be, and then when he did see me, he walked up to me, and he pointed at Tavin. He said, "Is that yours?" And I freaked out. I was crying. I was trembling. And Tavin was kind of scared because I was like, oh my God, and that was the very first time I saw him since I had divorced him and moved back to Kenosha. So that was like 5, 6 years later. I'm still scared. Yes. And in fact, I still have this fear of seeing him sometimes. That's just the truth. But if you are in that fearful situation, it stays with you forever. It really does. And you're not going to sit up on the stand and be like swinging around and, looking out the window and, oh my gosh, you're fighting for your life and you're swinging on the chair like, hey, this is a good time. Looking out the window, staring at the jury. And, she's not smiling at them. She's just kind of looking at them, and there weren't any tears from her. A couple crocodile tears came out at one point, but other than that, no. And then when the prosecution came and cross-examined her, really, it came down to the pictures. It came down to that. And that, that's what the jury saw. That they did not feel like it was self-defense. They went back and they deliberated. For those 2 hours, they did deliberate. They asked a lot of questions, from what I understand. They knew she was guilty. They just had to decide if it was first or second degree. And she had plotted this for 6 months in their eyes. And for those 6 months of plotting, they really wanted to know then if this doctor had examined Donna and wanted to know if there was anything that they could look at that would tell them about the conversation that he had with Donna to verify, this whole domestic violence, I was a battered woman syndrome. And her lawyers came back and told the jury, no, we're not giving you anything. You're going to have to go on memory. That was the clincher for them too. That was it. When they couldn't get any information from anyone about anything and had to go on memory, well, their memory was she sat up there swinging on her chair, acting all arrogant and ridiculous. That's what they saw. That's what they're going to remember. And if they can't have the notes and any of the reports from the doctor who supposedly examined her, you really just threw Donna into the lion's den, is what you did. That's what her lawyers did. Why didn't the lawyers give the jury the information that they needed that could have changed the destination of where Donna's going to be? Why? Why would they not do that? Is that a Donna choice or is that a lawyer's choice? Either way, it was a dumb choice. And the jury at that point had no choice but to say, you know what? Done. If the lawyers aren't going to help us to help her, well then what else? What other choice do we have but to find her guilty of first-degree murder? Those 3 things were the clinchers for them. Stacy, Sydney, and asking for information that was denied to them. But the 4th thing that really hit it, and it wasn't like this is one of the reasons, but it was a very important factor. They felt her lawyers were incompetent. They felt that they weren't fighting for her. They could see it. They knew it. And so they really felt like, well, if their lawyers aren't going to fight for her, if her lawyers aren't going to fight for her, then why should we? If they're not going to give us the information, if they're not going to object to, the prosecution calling her a whore and a slut and all this other stuff and a drug addict, then why should we believe that maybe she's not those things? That is what I was told. Now, as far as we go with everyone saying they went back there for the pizza and they had been there for 2 weeks and they just wanted to get out of there. Well, the truth of the matter is they were all told it was going to be 3 weeks. So they were getting out a week early. And for them, they really felt like there wasn't enough information on Donna's defense to really fight for her. There was nothing there for her. Derek's testimony was damning. A lot of these people went in there, first of all, feeling sorry for Donna based on the story that was told. But once the facts started coming out that she was taking money from him, that she was asking money from him, that she was telling him where he was, that she was luring him to Hawaii to kill him, that she was plotting the murder for 6 months, you really can no longer be like, I feel sorry for this woman. And truthfully, as her friend, someone over here who knows Donna and was told the story that the defense was telling, you feel sorry for Donna too. You would. And you couldn't help but feel sorry for Donna. You really did. You felt like, this guy's in the Chicago cartel. He's threatening her. The reality is that I was threatened. My family was threatened by my ex-husband. But you know what? That's not a good enough reason to stay with somebody. Because as someone who has been in that situation numerous times, they're not going to do it. They just want to abuse you. They don't want to hurt anyone else, honestly. They just want to really hurt you. And if they can't hurt you, then they're just pretty much nothing. Their power is gone. And sure, there's cases where they will do something to the daughters or whatever, the children, if they're in the home. But there's no proof that can verify that he had any plans or plots. Excuse me again. Now, Jamie Holmes' testimony was another one that I will tell you, the juror that I spoke to really wanted to know the facts because she felt like there were so many gaps in this entire trial that when the juror got out, she started doing all of her own research to find out what's going on. What is the truth here? What is the problem? What was missing? What went on with Jamie Holmes? What went on with Michael Guyan? Why did, so this juror went and did all this investigation on her own. God bless her. Seriously, I'm really impressed because a lot of the things that she was telling me, I didn't know. Like the Jamie Holmes situation, there is not one police record of any domestic violence against Michael Guyan with Jamie Holmes. Then there's also this letter, supposedly from Cole, which says that he was glad that his dad was dead and thank you, Donna, for killing him. I'm going to tell you something right now. I think that's a big hoax. Truly, I do. And I won't tell you why. But it's something that has recently happened with me. And being in contact with somebody who basically has given me the impression that that letter is not true. And if it is true, then it was probably a forced letter or something of that matter. And if I am wrong, tell me I'm wrong. That's all I'm going to say on that. But after we listened to the sentencing, and this juror had listened to it as well, she really felt like Donna really, really messed that completely up, which anybody who listened to it knows that Donna really pretty much killed herself. I mean, she pretty much sent herself to prison, not killed herself. That was a really poor choice of words, and I'm sorry about that. But she really kind of put herself in a very bad situation. You know, this me, I'm kind of thing. Her lawyer even said that she was to blame for a lot of the aggression in the relationship. Wow. I mean, really, this is your own lawyer telling the judge she's to blame for a lot of the aggression in this sick relationship, to quote his words. And that lawyer, he wasn't the Barney Fife of the lawyers. He was the other lawyer who was sitting on Facebook most of the time and chewing candy and laughing and giggling up with everyone else in the, the galley. But when he got up to talk about the sentencing, he got up and started talking about himself. When I do high drama cases like this, when I am involved in high drama cases like this, like it was me. Everything was about me. And then we get Donna, who comes up there and says, I'm so sorry, I'm so remorseful, and then walks out screaming at the family. We know she's not remorseful. We know that for a fact. And Judge Meyer was absolutely correct. She nailed it and said this was based on hate, not on self-defense. And Donna proved it walking out the door. She proved it when she started writing letters to Daniel Tate. She proved it when she started empathizing with other murderers. Something in Donna's head is not right. Seriously. And the juror, when I first talked to her about the sentencing, she felt the same way I did. She felt, maybe Donna should have had a chance. Gosh, it's kind of a hard, sentencing. That's a really tough sentence. And she was conflicted about it. But then after listening to it, she said, you know what? That's a cold-blooded murder. I think the judge knew exactly what she was doing. And, she knows a lot of judges and lawyers and things of that nature. And she said, Judge Jody Meyer is one of the best of the best. And so, and you could tell that in there, it seemed a little one-sided, but at times I felt like Judge Jody Meyer was really kind of empathizing with Donna, and she was very kind talking to Donna. You could hear it in the sentencing that it was a really hard decision for her to make. But I think that she made the right one, especially when Donna walks out and she starts yelling at Guyan's family. The other thing the juror said is that Donna won't take any responsibility for what happened in this situation. And I agree. This is one thing that's been incredibly disturbing for me, is that Donna doesn't take any responsibility. She's not saying, yeah, I kind of, pushed him and maybe I shouldn't have done that and I could have handled things a little bit differently. No, she's blaming everyone. She's blaming Guyan, his family, the police department, you name it. Everybody but herself. Now, one of the things that I had to learn coming out of my domestic violent marriage was that I had to start taking responsibility for myself. First of all, I let him back way too many times. Now, if you were to go and look at my ex-husband's on court, on CCAPS or whatever in Wisconsin, you would see domestic violence about 2 or 3 times on there called by me. So if I were to go in a case and say, hey, I killed him based on I was fearful of my life, those might have been a little bit different. They would have looked at it and said, oh, yeah, domestic violence, breaking parole. And the parole was his domestic violence. He was on parole for domestic violence, and he had broken it several times. So if I were to go into that situation, that's what they would see, and the jury might be a little bit more sympathetic with me, because they would see that my ex-husband had all of these counts. And granted, I went back with him the first time, I went back with him the second time, the third time, the fourth time, but eventually things got so bad that I thought I was going to kill him. I thought I was going to be the one, featured on Snapped. Seriously. And that's when I realized I need help. Something's not wrong with me up here or here in my heart anymore. The damage has been done, and I need help. And that's what I did. The other thing about domestic violence is you can't function. I've lost 3 jobs when I was in a domestic violent marriage. I went through a very, very good job. I couldn't handle it anymore because the stress was so overwhelming that you can't fully focus on things that are going on around you. It's painful. Then I got another really good job in Chicago that I loved, and I was commuting back and forth, and I couldn't function in that. And I found myself snapping at people and getting angry. And there was one, oh my gosh, I will never forget. I was in a very, very important meeting, and this woman said something that really ticked me off, and I went off on her, and I couldn't tell you what I said because it was all unconscious. I was just not there. I could not function in a job. I could not function at it with friends, family. All my friends left me. A lot of my friends just left because I was just so out of control. Sorry. So, what I find interesting about Donna's situation is that if she was so fearful of her life, why was she out and about and having all these good times and, out drinking and partying with her friends and, all this stuff? From someone who's been in a real domestic violence situation, you're fearful. You're fearful to walk out the door. You're fearful to look out the window. But she kept bringing the guy back in. And a part of me can understand that, but we know that some of it was to lure him into traps. And then when the traps didn't work out, she decided she was going to file another restraining order on him in Hawaii when she couldn't actually kill him there, when that did not pan out. So the juror, also, I have to tell you this too. The jury selection, for those of you saying, well, they don't understand domestic violence. You know what? You're just looking for excuses, to justify Donna's behavior. The jury was handpicked based on the fact that they did understand domestic violence. Some of them had been in domestic violence situations themselves. This juror lost a best friend to domestic violence. She was stabbed about 50 times. She was fearful of her life. And then the guy who killed her killed himself. And it was a very difficult situation. And so to say that this jury didn't know domestic violence, they knew domestic violence. Donna did not. That's just the truth. She didn't know domestic violence the way most of us have known it. Okay? You wouldn't sit up there on the stand, swiveling in your chair. You would be still scared. Even if he were dead, you'd still be scared. You wouldn't be proud of the fact that you killed someone. I wouldn't be proud of the fact of killing my ex-husband. I would have ran to the police almost immediately, like, oh my gosh, what have I done? Like, seriously, that remorse and the fear of myself was so overwhelming that I knew I was going to do something if this guy didn't get away from me. If I didn't get him away from me, I was going to kill him. I would be the one sitting in prison today, or maybe not, because I actually had evidence that he was abusive. Donna did not. The real problem Donna did not. Donna had no proof. The only proof that she had was restraining orders, and then she stopped the restraining orders and she put them back on. She stopped them, she put them back on. If you are so fearful for somebody, you would have those restraining orders on at all time and never let them cancel out. You would have those on continuously. So the jury made a very educated, based on the information that they had, based on the information they didn't have, which is key, because they didn't have a lot of information, and so they went on what they had. They went on what the lawyer was telling them to do. Go on memory. Well, the memory is that Derek pretty much hung Donna. A lot of her friends, which is probably why Stacy and Sydney weren't brought up there, because I think they started realizing that the defense witnesses were also kind of crucifying Donna at the same time, that they were better off not speaking than they were speaking, from what the jury said, the juror that I spoke to. And that was things that they all talked about in the deliberation room. So this was not a snap judgment. They tried to get information. They wanted to help Donna. They wanted to help Donna. But with the information that they had and had to go by, there was no other choice but to find her guilty. So they had to determine, and they really went over this long and hard, and maybe it wasn't your 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 2 days or whatever, but they did discuss it. Second degree or first degree? Well, it was plotted for 6 months, and that's what they went by. There were numerous people involved. That's what they went by. So to say that this jury made a snap judgment because they wanted to get out of there, or they didn't know domestic violence, or they wanted the pizza, shame on you. Because the reality is they saw the facts the way that they are. You are still refusing to look at the facts. You are still refusing to have that truth sink into you. You're still, I keep getting disconnected. I'm so sorry about that. So I am going to go ahead and end this here. I feel like I told you a lot about what the juror said. If you have any questions, if you feel like I missed something, please feel free to comment below and let me know if you have any questions about the juror or anything that you think that I may have overlooked, because I did have a very, very long conversation with her yesterday. I'm getting contact by Snapped right now. I'm flying out on Thursday, filming on Friday. I don't know when that will be out. And again, just please, for those of you who are praying people, please pray for me that I do the right thing, that I don't say something, that could be really hurtful for Donna. Everything that I said here, I feel like I can say. I don't really feel like that's really hurtful to Donna. If I were to call her names or something, and I'm not going to do that because I don't feel that way about her, besides her being a cold-blooded murderer, which I think she is. And that's really unfortunate because that's my friend. My friend is a cold-blooded murderer, and that's a really hard thing for me to grasp and to sink in for me. And I think that Donna's friends probably are beginning to feel the same way. I hope that they are. I pray with all my heart that Donna's friends are really coming to grips with the reality of what Donna did, and Donna really needs help. Donna needs help. She's just not the same person anymore, and yeah, maybe a lot of it had to do with Guyan, but she was also instigating a lot of that anger within him and pushing him and provoking him, and so many questions that the jury had about that just didn't add up. Him having access to her storage, she gave him the key. always inviting him to here and there, him paying for things. So those were huge issues, and the Stacy and Sydney not testifying were major, major factors in their decision. So I'm going to end it there. And again, if you have any questions for me, please feel free to comment below. I will try to answer them the best to my knowledge. And I hope that this was informative for you who have been following the case. I hope it was informative to some of Donna's friends and family. I hope that this really helps you to understand what was going on through the jury's mind. I know it's not what you think. And don't hate the jury because Donna killed someone. You can't do that. That's not fair to the jury because the jury didn't do anything. Donna killed Michael Guyon. Donna plotted his murder for 6 months. Donna involved over 60 people in this murder. Why aren't you asking the real questions? Why aren't you asking Donna the real hard, tough questions that you need to be asking her? That's what I would like to know. That is what I would like to know. And if Stacy Tenuta ever gets wind of this or watches this, I need to know, why didn't you testify? What stopped you from testifying? Because you could have changed the course for Donna. Thank you so much for watching. I'm not going to ask you to subscribe because that's not what I'm here for today. Please comment below any questions or comments that you have about this particular situation. God bless you and take care. Bye.